Henllan Bakery, it's a family-run business basically, and has been since 1908. So we've been going a long time. We're fifth generation of the same family. We started out a bit small and moved to our current premises in the 70s and stuff, and we've been grown ever since. We deliver bread, morning goods, cakes, pies, savouries, all sorts of confectionery, to lots of different customers, ranging from your local corner shop to your big supermarkets as well, and schools, hospitals, colleges, all sorts of places. Well, we realised that we needed a new accounting software. Basically, over the last sort of 2 or 3 years, our accountants were advising us that the current accounts package we use wasn't fit for purpose as we were growing, basically. So we realised that we needed to get the ball rolling and look for a new accounts package. Our finance software that we were using originally was something that we'd been using for 5 or 6 years before the pandemic, and that was a process that was suitable for us then. As we were one of the lucky ones during the pandemic, where we continued to grow and continue to take on new customers. And as we grew bigger and bigger and started developing, dealing with more customers and bigger supermarkets and chains, the amount of customers we were delivering to was far too much for the current accounts package we had. So we had to look for a new accounts package that would be able to deal with the amount of invoices and all of the different things that go along with increased customers.
The challenges we had with our previous software were that it was getting a lot slower. So as we were putting more customers into it, it was getting slower. And we were just worried that the more data that we did put into it, on the basis it was already going slower, that it might just stop working at some point. And so in order to keep, our HMRC VAT return okay and everything else, because we'd obviously all gone digital, then we wanted to make sure that we had a package that was going to be able to deal with the capacity that we were trying to push through it, which is where our new packages come in now.
When we first met with itas, they presented us, had an informal sort of meeting, just basically trying to understand how our business run, what sort of customers we dealt with, what we needed out of our accounts package, again, along with our accountants. And from those initial meetings, they presented us with various different versions of Sage, what they could do for us, which ones they thought were suitable for us now, and they even thought which ones would be suitable for us if we continued on the growth that we were currently on. The reason why we chose Sage 200 was after speaking with our accountants, and we work quite closely with our accounting team to basically help us out with all of the accounts packages. They did the research themselves first of all, and then presented Sage 200, or just Sage in general, I think it was, originally, for us to have a look at. And we thought, along with them as well, that this would be the way forward for us as we continue to grow. We looked at various different versions of Sage, but this is going on with the meetings with itas. They helped us decide which version of Sage was appropriate for us at the time. The reason why we chose itas for our implementation of Sage 200 was mainly from our accountants doing the groundwork in the background. They thought that Sage would be the best way forward, and then through their research they found itas to be the company to use. And we had initial meetings before we signed up to go down this route, and everything that itas told us about and presented to us made us decide that they were the ones that we wanted to go with.
I think from that very first initial meeting before we signed to go with itas, they explained this is what the process will look like, and explained like we said, about the plan of action, and we'll fit in with you and we'll do it together as a team. And I think that's what we liked from that initial, which is why we all agreed, including our accountants, that yes, this is the best option for us, and itas are the answer.
It felt to us like it would be a collaboration rather than,
yeah, definitely,
individuals sort of working to get the job done. Since we moved to Sage 200, from my point of view, I used to be the one who would upload invoices to the accounts package every week. We used to use a package called Xero, and the uploading process of getting all our customer invoices onto Xero wasn't the quickest, shall we say. It could take several hours to do just for a week's worth of invoices, sometimes even longer than that. Whereas since we've moved to Sage 200 and our direct link with our bakery software called Cybake, the uploading process now takes a matter of 5 minutes once a week. So that in itself has been a big help to us, just to improve that.
Yeah, I think, so from the back end, I'm the one that reconciles payments, so customer payments that come in. And although sometimes on Xero it was relatively quick and simple, you weren't getting the level of detail that you now get on Sage. And so I think, for me, like my brother said, it has taken time to get used to it. But now that we're using it every day, and it's mainly the two of us that are using it, as well as some of our staff are using various elements of it, but we're the ones that are into the nitty gritty of it. It does feel that it is going to be the best package for us moving forward, and we look forward to maybe moving on to a bigger version of it in the future too now.
The biggest change we've seen with Sage 200, our accountants used to do a lot more of our accounting for us, whereas with Sage 200 now, we are doing it ourselves in the processes that we already did, if that makes any sense. So whereas when we are cashing off invoices or allocating payments to invoices, we are doing a lot of the accountant's work in the same process, whereas in the past, we just used to tick a box and say, this is the invoice being paid, and then the accountants have to do all of the other bits and bobs behind the scenes, whereas now with Sage, it's all in one process. So
yeah, I think it's, like my brother said, I think, previously we were doing the front end, but then actually the detail, which forms part of all our accounts, our management accounts and everything else, we didn't really see. Whereas with Sage 200, you can see it, we can see it day to day, and, we know all the nominal codes and making sure we're putting things to the right boxes. And it also does have some nice fancy charts and things that come out at the back end, which you can click onto as well. But we haven't gone into those in too much details yet. But no, our accountants are really happy with it as well. And they're happy that the level of detail is much better in Sage 200.
The reporting with Sage 200 has changed quite a lot, whereas we're fifth generation of the family business, as I said earlier, and our dad and uncle are still in the business here and like to see figures and charts and reports and everything like that. Whereas with Xero, it was us telling them the reports, maybe as such, or telling them what was going on. But with Sage, they are able to, and the accountants are able to give them detailed reports that they can print off and look. But they're not very computer literate. So using Sage now is providing them with all the information in a way that they can easily interpret from a print off rather than us having to go through it all with them. Our integration with Cybake, now that it's all finished, is perfect. The loading of the invoices, the loading of any transactions is the case of a CSV file. Is the click of a button on Cybake to generate a CSV file for all of the transactions for the whole week. Then literally we just upload and validate that file through Sage 200, and within 5 minutes, all of that information is transferred across. So we did have a bit of catch up to do with that, but if we'd had to do that catch up with Xero as we used in the past, it might have taken us weeks to do. Whereas the catch up of getting all the transactions for the first month when we weren't putting them on there was, again, perhaps an hour to get a whole month's worth of data onto Sage. And it was good to know that we can, if Cybake ever failed as well, we could do it the manual way that we had to do it the first time round as well, which was very, itas provided us with all of that information very well as well.
So I think, yes, so right from the off, we met the team. So I think from initial meetings with itas, they supported us throughout the journey with regular meetings. They were on the end of the phone if we needed them, or on the end of an email. Any questions we had or thoughts we had throughout the process of thinking about, how is this going to work on Sage 200, or how is that going to work? And likewise, if our accountants had questions, there was always someone on the end of an email who was happy to respond to it. The response time was absolutely brilliant. We had, I think, a weekly meeting with the team, and we felt part of that whole team, which made the whole process so much easier. We're very much people persons. We like to put faces. And so it was really nice that we could just have, a team's meeting every week with the whole team there. And it just made the whole process much smoother.
One thing I'd like to add as well is when we first agreed and signed to go down the route of getting Sage 200 with itas, they were very good at providing us with a complete schedule of how it would work from the beginning to the go live date. They would ask us when we were available for various different forms of training, or when we needed to get the initial data set to them from the software. And they were in constant communication throughout this. If we needed to change anything or delay it for whatever reason, they would do that in the drop of a hat. So we were very impressed with that.
Yeah.
I think the main worries we had, I'm quite old-fashioned anyway, so change is always one of those things which you think, am I going to like the change? But we've done it with our bakery software package over the last few years. We've done it with lots of things in the bakery and stuff, and we realised ourselves that we had to change. So the initial meetings we had with itas helped allay those fears. But apart from that, I don't think there was anything. We realised we needed to change.
Yeah, and I think from our point of view, as a business, we have very different demands on us at different times of year. So we have quiet times of year, we have really busy times of year, and this is what we explain to itas to say, look, this is when it has to happen. It can't happen August bank holiday week, or it can't happen Easter week. And so, we planned it in for September, which then we said we're quietening down then in the run up to Christmas. And it just the way that itas worked, it just allayed any fears right from the off. And I think the fact that we had weekly meetings with them, any concerns could be raised right at that initial stage. And so by the time it came to the implementation week, I don't think we had any worries that it wasn't going to work, because we knew everything was in place and we knew that everyone was there to support us. Yeah, so before we started the whole project, the initial stages of the project were about scoping our business. So itas played the part in finding out all about Henllan, establishing how we work day to day. What they did do, which was really good, was look at, send us some of your invoices, from our Cybake software. Let's see what things look like. Just so that they could fully understand exactly what we were looking for. And it didn't just play a part with us here scoping, they scoped with our accountants as well to make sure from their point of view, what do you need to get out of it at the back end? Obviously, Xero provided them with certain reports and they wanted similar or better reports in Sage. And so they it felt like it was a bit bespoke for us. I know Sage is a standard product, but they tailored it to fit our needs and to make it look, perfect for Henllan.
The training we had from itas to get used to the software was very, very useful, very helpful. It was good in a way that they were very flexible with how the training was offered. So while we scheduled in 2 days, for example, initially, we realised that after the first day of the training that perhaps we needed to only schedule half a day in training for the second day, and then we'd have access to the dummy version of the software, and then have further training after we've actually had basically had a go at using Sage. We always think the best way of learning somebody is by doing it. So having that initial training and then showing us how to do it, and then having the training after we've done it was definitely a good thing. I mean, we were set tasks in the training to do, and we had literally any sort of queries we had an option to send them, to send itas a question straight away from that task that they'd given us, and they would get back to us pretty much instantaneously with what we needed to do, or if we were a bit struggling. So I definitely think the way they did the training was very good, because you can sit at a screen and share a screen and look at things being done, but after a few hours of that, it can get a bit sort of tiring, and you can start to switch off. So it was the good thing with that was them itas giving us tasks to do in between the sort of training sessions and stuff was definitely very beneficial to us. Throughout the whole project with itas, I think that the main thing I'd say was the fact that, as I said before, you felt it was a collaboration more than them just doing the work in the background and us just waiting here for it to be done. We had regular contact with Nadine and Alex and David, lots of people. We had constant, Zoom meetings and stuff like that, so they could show us things if we needed to. So I think that was the biggest thing I found, was just over the 5 or 6 months from the original sign off to the go live date, there was always someone there to talk to, and it didn't have to just be a phone call or an email. You could go on a Zoom thing and you literally have your questions answered within minutes.
Yeah, and I would say that's the biggest benefit that we had from the itas project, was that it was communication. Communication all the way through the project. It was really easy to just feel part of that team and know that, right, this is a project that we're all doing together. And I think because they asked so many questions of us about our business and made sure that they understood how we worked and what we needed from this new package, it just felt like they understood, and it just made the whole process much easier. And it's meant that in the future, we've got no qualms over going to itas again if we need to change again.
I think that the team, as I said earlier, the team supported us throughout the process. So in the project management side of it, we had regular meetings with Nadine every single Wednesday, I think it was, to start off with. They may only be sort of 10, 15-minute meetings, but the whole management side of it and the scheduling of when we were going to do things and what we needed and when we needed to do, that was all sort of ironed out within those 10-minute meetings every Wednesday. Again, it was a very flexible process. So if we all of a sudden realised we needed to postpone one stage, or we were going to be a bit late getting the information to them, it seemed a very easy way of doing it, to be able to say, look, we'll just push this back 1 week, we'll push our go live date back to this, and it all seemed to work out seamlessly. I think the main impact that Sage has had on us as a business is just the ability to grow. I think more as we keep on growing. We're one of the lucky businesses, as I said, that's lucky enough to have grown over the last sort of 5 years, despite everything that's gone on. And as we start to deal with more and more customers and more multiples, the functions that Sage has, it's definitely a step in the right direction to be able to keep on doing that. So if the customers want information, Sage can provide it for us to send to the customers. If we need further information about how things are trending in certain products or certain areas, Sage can provide us that as well. So it's definitely a stepping stone in the right direction. And as I said, we may well go for a more professional version of Sage going forward as we keep on growing. The go live process was quite straightforward, really. We knew what we had to provide in terms of getting data from the old accounts package into the new accounts package, and what we were starting with. Whether we needed to start with just opening balances, or we were going to bring forward the actual invoice details, which we ended up doing. And we had itas sent us a dummy template for us to populate with all this data to see if we could extract it from zero. That was the biggest issue, extracting it from zero in the first place. But once we'd done that dummy run and populated it into the spreadsheet that itas had provided, the CSV file that itas had provided, when it came to the go live date, literally we printed all our invoices on a Saturday. We then extracted all the data, and within half an hour, all that data was populated into the CSV file. That was then shared with itas, and they worked on it over the next few days, and everything was fine.
It was really smooth. It was just like, 1 week you're using zero, and then the next week, because we went live on like over a Monday and a Tuesday, so that you were just using the new system. And it was really easy, probably the easiest go live date of all, or any of our software systems.
Yes, we've had changes in other software before where you're having to run the two softwares alongside one another and then transfer the data retrospectively. But this was literally switch off, switch on almost, and the data was there. So we thought that was very good. Since we've been live with the system, we had the original projects team support did extend for a good month. I think it went even longer than that, a good couple of months while we first started with Sage. We didn't really need any support from the projects team as such. We had the odd question here and there, and we haven't needed that much support since then.
So we know that the support is there. I think sometimes we're just so busy that we just think we'll work it out ourselves. And with Sage, actually, there is a help function on Sage as well. Quite a lot of the time, you can just look on there and the answer is there rather than having to contact the support team.
I think that's a fault with ourselves rather than anything else. Yeah. We're quite stubborn. We think we can do this. So, but it's good to know that the support is there if we can't do it.
Yeah.
If anyone is looking for a Sage partner, then I would highly recommend itas. Basically, it's a collaboration. They will find out exactly what you need, what your business is like, how you work, who you deal with, everything like that. And they will then guide you through the process and show you the options that Sage can actually do for you. So if they feel a version of Sage is more beneficial to you now, but they will also tell you what version you would need. They think you will need in the future as well. So I would highly recommend itas as a good collaborative partner.
And I would just mirror what my brother has said, and I would highly recommend itas for any future project. If you're looking for any kind of Sage partner, then itas definitely is the one to use, because they just made the process so easy. They just made it feel seamless. It fitted with our day-to-day business. We didn't have to go off and project manage it ourselves because there was an itas team doing that for us, and we just had to keep, to be part of the team and keep inputting whatever we needed to input. And it just made the whole process much easier for all of us. And definitely 100% recommend itas.
What I would say to someone looking at Sage 200 would be that it's definitely an applicable version of an accounting software for sort of a company that
small to medium
sized sort of company. It has the functions there, been able to deal with many customers, provide many different reports, many different functions. It also provides links with other softwares, and it's easy to link other softwares into that if you have as we do, a bespoke bakery software. I think it is a step in the right direction for anyone who is growing, basically. I recommend Sage 200 for bakeries because of the way it does link with our bakery specific software. It's a lot of people use Cybake from various different bakeries, from your small bakery up to your medium-sized bakery, use this Cybake software, which has now become global. And the links that Cybake provides to Sage and Cybake have designed for the link up to Sage are very good. They've got lots of reports which are easily uploadable to the Sage 200 system, and they can, between Sage and Cybake, they can tailor it to whatever information you need to get on there. we found it to be very, very good for our bakery. So I can't see why it wouldn't be good for other bakeries as well.